Hello, my name is Martha Marshall, an OLLI member since the 2000s. I'm sharing my experience learning in the 1950s and later that there were tasks girls and women didn't do. One of the reasons I had so many experiences being told a task was not for females was because I kept trying to do things males did, since I saw no good reason a female could not do the task. My parents set the tone for my behavior. They said education was important for me and that I should pursue a career when I grew up. My immigrant father believed I could do anything. He made me his assistant doing repair and maintenance on our house and our church. Here's a photo showing us hard at work. As I got older, my dad had me climbing step ladders and even working on the roof of our church. In the 1950s, my father and I went to the hardware store to buy supplies. The clerks could not believe this little girl in paint-stained clothes was doing manual labor. I thought that what I was doing was normal, but a clue that I might be wrong were the help wanted ads in the newspaper that split into jobs for men and jobs for women. More roadblocks to being female happened as I got older. In high school, I tried to sign up for drafting. The teacher said only boys could take the class. In the mid-1960s, my college freshman chemistry lab included 87 men and 3 women. The grad student who supervised the section that included we 3 women would announce to the entire lab when a woman made a mistake. If a woman asked him for help, he would remind her women did not belong in chemistry and complain how stupid we were, something the men students never experienced. In 1969, I entered grad school to earn a master's in business administration. There were very few women in this program. When I tried to register for agricultural economics, the professor said no, because a woman had no good reason to take his course. When interviewing for jobs, recruiters always asked women about their marriage and childbearing plans, questions they never asked the men. And this was legal practice when interviewing in the 1970s. I was offered a position with the Central Intelligence Agency. The recruiter said the only work a woman would be hired to do was in the CIA library. He said I might be able to get another position after several years at the CIA. I declined the offer. In the mid-1970s, I decided to become a certified public accountant. I had no female role models to follow, but thought my skills aligned with what I knew the profession required. At the time, I learned there were CPA firms that would never take women on audits to a client's office. The CPA firm that hired me didn't send me to clients' offices to do audits. It was only years later a former partner told me he sometimes had to call a client to be sure they would allow a woman to come to their office to do the audit. When I received my CPA license in 1975, there were only 3 female CPAs in Western North Carolina. One woman had retired after working with her husband in their own firm. One woman was working as director of a nonprofit. I was the only one working in public accounting. At professional meetings, I would be the only woman attending. Men speakers would say something off color, then realizing I was there, turned to apologize to me. At one dinner meeting, I was at a table which included one of my bosses. The conversation turned to women working outside the home. My boss said the primary role of a woman is to marry and have children, although it was okay if she wanted to get a job. Fortunately, another man at the table rose to support women being career professionals. I finally decided to return to my first love, teaching. Most of my career was as a professor of accounting and tax at UNC Asheville. I joined the faculty when UNCA first began offering a degree in accounting in the early 1980s. My approach to these obstacles of being female wanting to do traditional male tasks was to work even harder to prove myself. I also had the support of my husband, who was a feminist before it was cool for men to support women being career professionals. My career included being the second woman elected president of the Asheville chapter of the National Association of Accountants and the first female president of the Asheville chapter of the North Carolina Association of CPAs. In 1991, I was elected president of the 8,000-plus member of the North Carolina Association of CPAs, the second woman to hold that position. I also served as a member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, the governing council for CPAs nationwide. And here's a photo of me when I was president of the NCACPA, along with other members of the profession on a trip to Washington, D.C. By working hard and hanging in, I managed to show there is a place for professional women in the workplace. Now there are lots of women CPAs as well as women in many other professions. I'm grateful to all those women who worked hard, protested, and did all the other things needed to assure young women today can aspire to be anything they want to be. Thank you.